Iconoclasts is a fantastic game, but I'll be measuring it against a different metric. How fun is it to complete? In this video, I'll be diving headfirst into glossy metallic landscapes and facing off against a platoon's worth of death machines to help you decide whether it's worth going for the full 100% or not, along with a brief synopsis and review of the game. So, let's get cracking. Governed by the religious doctrines of the authoritarian One Concern, all citizens must comply with their assigned roles or face the consequences. Discontent to sit by idly while her community struggles, Robin defies her conscription to instead provide sorely needed assistance as a self-taught mechanic. The world's machines are powered by ivory, a dwindling resource which threatens to destabilize the entire planet both structurally and politically. Since mechanics are some of the few people licensed to handle ivory, it isn't long before Robin is branded as both a criminal and heretic by the One Concern. Can Robin take the fight to her enlightened oppressors without endangering those she means to protect? Looks can be deceiving, and that is especially true for Iconoclasts. What appears as a 2D platformer with a cute gimmick and even cuter pixel art hides underneath an ambitious narrative exploring themes of zealotry, abuse, and sacrifice. Characters are presented with a surprising amount of depth and nuance, providing the seemingly artificial setting with an impressive sense of realism. The game's lone developer wastes no time in immediately throwing the player into the thick of it, which can be a tad disorienting at first. Doubly so when some of the proper nouns are slightly unusual, with terms like the One Concern, Mother, and Him being a bit difficult to put names to faces to at first. But once the player gets their bearings, such stellar character writing helps anchor the player so that darker plot points succeed in their intended impact. Mechanically, Iconoclasts focuses on boss fights, with relatively short gameplay sections tying one to the next, seesawing between puzzle platforming and combat encounters. I can't help but agree with the developer Joachim Sandberg's choice to put bosses at centre stage, as the unique challenges they present, accompanied with memorable visual designs, fuels the player's motivation as they carve through the 10 or so hours of runtime. The aforementioned cute gimmick is Robin's wrench, which is utilised in a multitude of ways for both traversal and puzzling, with a few upgrades to tweak your playstyle. I'm slightly disappointed to report that despite the wrench's versatility matching iconic weapons such as Shovel Knight's trusty shovel, its controls are tuned a little on the finicky side. While the game pays homage to older titles, I also rather would have seen some of the head-scratching puzzles stayed in the past, as well as the lack of navigational tools in the UI, leaving the player unclear where to go next at times. But, as long as you aren't put off by these aged conventions, Iconoclasts demonstrates that you don't need intensive graphics to deliver a compelling story. So, as you're playing through Iconoclasts, you want to keep a lookout for all the chests and also the schematics for both the Beacoup booty and Multitool achievements. Some of these are in hard to reach places. In fact, you can only get them by using the roller bomb shot in midair as a pseudo double jump. No idea why the game doesn't actually teach you that move. You need it, so I'm roughly going to do these in chronological order. So we're going to start in Blockrock. I'm only going to highlight the most difficult ones, or the ones that I only found after I'd finished the game. So first of all, we've got this one where we have to do a slam through the floor, and then you just have to get this one timed so that you can open the chest while you've electrified that bottom right thingamabob. Next up, we're going to head up this little cliff hidden underneath the terrain here. A lot of these are going to be like that, where it's that kind of retro game style where they've hidden part of the world. On this one, again, we've got another switch that you need to wrench up and then head across into the water. I've already done this one, so you can't quite see it, but Again, you have to run across while it's still electrified. Then we're heading to the Shard Wastelands. In this cave, just above this wheel, Letitia is hiding in, and also another one of these chests. Just by this checkpoint, we've got another hidden handhold for you to clamber up and access this chest from below rather than above. Gonna need the bomb jump for this one and access this platform, head up the ladder and another chest. Moving on to Isilugar Labs now. For this one, you're going to time it so that you can access this entryway once this platform's still in midair from being bombed up from behind. Then you just clear out these enemies, do this little bit of parkour challenge. Nothing too tricky. As usual with these, it's knowing where it is rather than actually the challenge behind them a lot of the time. Another hidden in plain sight. You apparently can jump up into this bent bit, and we've got another chest. Tends to be the ivory oil that's hiding in most of these chests. Ferrier Shockwood now. In this one's kind of on me. It's quite blatant that you could go under here. You can open up this little shortcut, and also if you head up this ladder, guess what? It's another schematic. You're going to see in both sides of this large arena, you can head under the platforms and squeeze through into a crawl space, and then you've got another little challenge for you to execute. In the same area, you've got this electrified zipline, but there is a platform hidden underneath once you've destroyed those blocks. So just drop down and open this chest. Still in that same area, if you haven't already got this electrified box, you're going to go ahead and grab that from the far right hand side. Then we're going to use the usurper shot to swap places with this box under here. If I can just crouch at the same time, there we go. Then just make a little pile, and then you can use your wrench on that bolt and access this chest. So for this section, you've got to manipulate this platform, first of all by dislodging it with a bomb. Then you're going to use a charged rocket to push it across to the right hand side. I'm going to electrify this platform, sneak in here. This feels a bit jank, there's probably a better way of doing this, but you need to push the platform up again. Then you use that charged rocket shot again to push it to the left. Now we're going to swap the polarity of the electrified zipline and then charge ourselves up again, move that platform, head onto this bigger platform, up the ladder, and finally we can get through. Finally, there we go, we got through. Yeah, we get 2 chests instead of 1, which feels fair since that is probably one of the more convoluted ones out of the bunch. Still in Ferrier Shockwood. On this one, you just have to know there's an area to drop down into above this dilapidated residence, and that's another chest. Arguably one of the easier ones. I had a bit of an idiot moment and didn't realise you can just hang onto this platform while it slowly moves, and that's how you get up here and into this chest. For this one, we need to be electrified at the same time as we execute the charged bomb jump so that the platform jumps out And we can grab on and head into this area and open this chest. This one, there is a little hidden electrified switch that opens up this area underneath. From this point, you just need to electrify yourself again and duck while you slowly move across and grab this chest. Now we're in the tower. Oh, the tower. The tower is not good to navigate in general. Apologies in advance. Hopefully you've found most of the stuff already just because it is so maze-like, but here's what I missed. Fairly easy to access once you know where it is. There's also a couple extra chests at the very top of the tower, which you can only access once you return with the usurper shot. So you swap with that box there to access this chest, get some more ivory oil, head across to the other side, and you'll need to use that box that you've just swapped out for as a little purchase point so that you can use your wrench and access this schematic. This bit's a bit of a stinker. You go all the way around, then you've got to use, again, you've got to electrify yourself and do the charged bomb jump. One concern west now, and we're at the top of this sort of puzzly parkour section. Just as you fall down, there's a little hidey hole here with another chest in, so just make sure you go ahead and grab that. Still in one concern west, there's a usurper shot that you can use to grab this key that's just hiding here and get this chest open. Easily missed. Last one, I think, for one concern west. This little area here with a few enemies is hiding a ladder with a chest down below. Don't worry if you did miss any of these on your actual playthrough. There is a post game where you can happily go back and find all of these. There are a couple brief gameplay sections in the capital and on the moon, but those don't have any chests or schematics, so don't worry about the fact that you can't re-access those locations. You have not missed any chests or schematics. And that should be everything you need for those two achievements. Next are two achievements for the two optional bosses in the game. The first one we're going to look at is Psychopomps. Now, there is a series of notes that you can find on bodies hidden around the game in order to work out where this is, but you don't actually need to collect any of these notes. All you need to do is head to here in Ferrier Shockwood and drop down, and that's how you can access the hidden location. And then essentially you just go ahead and talk to one of these weeping fanatics, and that will trigger the boss fight. It is a tricky one, but you just need to do a little practice and should be able to handle those no problem. The other optional boss fight is against Fitzroy in Melodrama. For this, you first need to find the 6 hidden locations where Letitia is. I will show these on screen now. Those are the 6 locations. Do note that you do have to do them in order, and the vast majority, I believe, you can only find her in when you are in the post game. The 6th and final location is underneath Glass Strait. So before we head there, we're going to go into our tweaks menu and equip 3 breathless. Excuse me. This will increase our air meter so that we can last long enough under the water. So we're just going to head straight across from Shard Wasteland into Glass Strait, under the water here. We're going to have a think about it and then come back and go the right way. While you are underwater, don't use the little speed burst feature because that will drain your air meter much faster. So just go at the normal speed and head across into this cave. have a little sleep in the bed, head across, there's going to be another schematic for you to pick up, and then you are in the boss area. This is another rewarding boss fight where it does take you a few rounds to learn the gist of the mechanics, but again, I think it's worth learning for yourself rather than me spoiling all of it. Very visually captivating as well, so top marks there for the developer. The last and most difficult and most time-consuming achievement, I believe, is the one-hit wonder, which is to beat challenge mode. The main spike in difficulty in challenge mode is that you can literally only take one hit and that will kill you. In fact, you can't take any hits at all, that will kill you. The best way to mitigate this is to get the Iron Heart tweaks equipped. You can either use New Game Plus and have these immediately unlocked, most likely, or you can just pick them up at the shop once they become available. I genuinely didn't struggle too much just doing it that way, but New Game Plus is the most optimized way. From that point on, it's essentially going to be a bit of a boss gauntlet where you're just going to be rapidly traversing from one boss to the next, skipping all the unnecessary combat encounters that you possibly can. The main points of difficulty at particularly the late game, are the sections where you aren't in control of Robin. When you control a different character, you do not get the Iron Heart bonus lives, so you are down to just the one hit that kills you. So, in particular, the bosses Mendeleev and against Black are where challenge mode became the most grueling. So it's just a matter of learn their patterns and just rinse and repeat, really. There's not a lot else you can do to mitigate it. In the Mendeleev fight, you can make it a lot more easy by taking advantage of the points where she is not on fire, when her hair is purple, and she is vulnerable to being shot out of the air and into the electric field, which does a huge amount of damage as opposed to just hitting her with your shotgun. So whenever possible, try to take advantage of those moments of opportunity. Take note that you must avoid being trapped between the two columns of fire that come from above. If you are sandwiched in between them, they literally just enclose in on you and you can't avoid being killed, so pay particular attention to those. I would also avoid standing on the moving platforms at the bottom as much as possible. I suffered many a death when I was dropping down onto those bottom platforms and they would move literally just as I was about to land on them, and then I would be electrocuted and killed. So you want to use those two higher up platforms with the railing as much as you possibly can, because those are static, and also Mendeleev spends a lot less time on those, so they are safer in general. The other spike in difficulty is during the fight against Black. The first phase is fairly rudimentary. You just want to spam attack as fast as possible so that the phase lasts as little time as possible. During the second phase, you want to be essentially staying in the bottom left corner as much as you possibly can, because both of the big slam attacks from this creature don't hit the very back, so that is the safest area to stand in. Just be aware of these growths that come from below. If you don't keep your eye on those, you might get caught out. You also want to be careful of where you're standing when there's like a bit of a slam against this pillar and it locks you in place briefly, so that can catch you out as well. Take your opportunities here with the usurper shot to bring down those purple growths that appear briefly during some of the attack patterns, and that gets you across into phase 3. All you really need to do here is keep the dandelion seeds in check, which float down from above, while you slowly whittle down the boss's health, and hold your nerve. And with that, you should have everything you need to tackle Iconoclasts and get that 100%. So, overall, how would I rate the game for completion? Well, Normally I don't look too favourably upon extra modes after the first playthrough, but with Iconoclasts, because it's a fairly short game, I actually didn't find the additional playthrough on challenge mode to be that time consuming. I do appreciate that you can mitigate the ruthlessness of what is usually a very difficult Iron Man mode in most games by having 4 lives instead of 1. So yeah, more than happy to have this slapped at a very solid 4.5 out of 5. So why dock half a point then? Well, I do find it unfortunate that the tower is part of the game. It is a very labyrinthine and tedious section of the game, and having to do it a second time during challenge mode never felt any better either. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to hit that perfect 5 for me. If this video's been some help to you, go ahead and click all those buttons for me, hit the likes and the subscribes and all that if you think I deserve it. Fingers crossed. Let me know if there's a game you would like to see me tackle in future, perhaps. Otherwise, I will see you next time for another game being completed. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.